Ladies and gents, welcome back to Terraria, Day 3 Diary, my god. So, now we got a little bit of gear and we've got a boss. I did manage to discover that while exploring various corruption areas, that when I walked past, a crafting thing popped up. It turned out I'd been walking past demon altars for, I don't know, like 3 hours. So, massive shout outs to my live audience who were Pepe laughing through the whole thing because I was raging endlessly about where the demon altar is, because I knew I could craft a thing to summon the Eye of Cthulhu, but I had no idea where it was, and it turns out I was stood next to them the entire time. So after that, I managed to summon the boss and kill it, although it was a double knockout. I have not got a clean kill on this yet, but I think I figured it out, and I think it's very likely I can get this thing on farm when we do get to hardcore, by making an extra wide platform and being able to run much further, and not maybe make a little tiny box for me to hide in order to deal with it. But with that dead, I managed to pick up an item called the Eye of Cthulhu Shield, which gave me a dash ability and was really strong, gave me defense, had some stats, able to push enemies back. Seems super useful. And on top of that, by killing some orbs down in the corruption area, I managed to summon another boss called the Eater of Worlds. And today, I felt like it was a time for a day of exploration before I sat into big progress. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get knuckled down and start seeing more of the map, because I'd seen hell, but I hadn't really gone left or right. This turned out to be massive folly, because my first venture into exploration in day 1 and 2 was to the right, which led me to a desert, which was ultimately painful, and I assumed left and right would be the same. Nope. Nope. If you go left, it's actually a starter area with tons of early potions and really helpful equipment and much easier mobs to kill. But such is the nature of blind looking at games. Going left, I found the corruption area. And then I decided just to keep going, where I found a snowy biome. I had a brief exploration and can't really find anything of note in there. I went down quite deep, but didn't really see anything. So I decided to keep going. And in the middle of this, Terraria's random events really started to kick my ass. I'd had the blood moon already, but then it started to rain slimes. And while I was sort of building areas, the slimes just poured on me. And I killed loads of them. And ultimately a boss spawned. The king slime himself appeared. It turned out dead easy. One-shot this boss. Was kind of impressed with myself, but I figure this is like a dirt easy boss, so I shouldn't be particularly, but I did one-shot it and got myself my first mount, a little slime bouncy mount that actually bounces so high that it gives me fall damage, which is a little bit of a worry. But I continued to push left and found something really, really odd. I found a library with an old man outside it. Now, what was interesting is this man said he wouldn't let me in until it was nighttime, and it happened to be daytime. But I snuck around him, and I dug into the library from the back. I cheated. I felt I was being really, really clever. I wasn't, but I did manage to dig myself into the library and only went down a few steps before a giant monster eradicated me off the face of the earth. Not to be deterred, though, as I never am, I went back at nighttime, and it turns out talking to this guy spawns another boss called Skeletron, which absolutely kicked my ass in all horrible ways. So, again, on the back burner to work on these bosses. I figure I need more gear, but as it's a journey of exploration, it's time to go right, gang, because if this was all the way to the left, what's to the right? So moving past the desert, I then found a jungle. Oh my. Oh my. I found the jungle and went down there, which has got these horrible hornets in it, and it's just really hard. But I also found a mine track, which was awesome. I found myself a mine track, which I could ride. I thought I'd have to build myself a minecart, which I saw in the base. But no, I can actually just go and ride around on this thing. And I found a beehive. Now, I was a little spooked out and terrified because it was full of bees, which were just spitting at me with the accuracy of a movie star. They're not stormtroopers at all, but I did eventually work them down, and ultimately this summoned the queen bee, which one-shot me, and another boss on the back burner. But at this point, it's absolutely time to start working on some bosses. And the first one I wanted to go for, because I had some materials for it, I figured out that the guide, if you put the thing in that says material, that it'll show you what you can craft, is I could summon that boss. And one thing I noticed with it is that it had exceptional amounts of health, but its body was segmented. So it was time for science. I was like, I must have something, hopefully, that like penetrates and travels through targets, and you know, something that's got like target penetration. So I started sciencing and messing around and found that jester arrows do travel through targets. So I built myself an arena and made it way longer because I noticed that if I traveled far enough, the worm actually sort of straightened out, meaning I could shoot. My theory was that I could shoot an arrow right down it. This took a lot of wipes. I'm not going to lie, I was wiping my ass off trying to figure this guy out. But ultimately, with all the science of figuring out the arrows and finally sort of using consumables. So I'd been finding potions and stuff in chests all over the place, but kind of saving them for when I hit a hard boss. And I figured this was as good a time as any, as I potioned myself to the gills and went at it and absolutely crushed this boss.
Where are you at? It's never gonna work! Your arena's too fucking big! Where the f*** are you? Hey! Where the f*** are you? Wanna answer me now? You wanna talk to me? Where are you? F***ers. Oh, why is he doing this? Nice coughing, mate! Victory! Where are you, f***ing backseat Andes? Suck it!
I was so happy to see this boss die, because it had been a good few hours of progress. It really had been a good few hours of progress to try and work on this guy and get another boss down in the game. But when it died, it was clean as hell. It was so goddamn clean that I was, like, extraordinarily happy with myself. Brought him down, collected a new item, a scarf that gave me almost like a flat 20% damage reduction, which is just amazing. Like, that is a must-wear item all the time. And unfortunately, it's got some bad stats on it, so maybe I have to farm this boss. And I'm pretty sure I can farm this boss super, super easily, because, like I say, the kill was crystal clean. It was nothing like the Eye of Cthulhu. This was something that I can get on with. But this is kind of where I'm at, is like, I need to... I spent the rest of the day sort of preparing to fight the skeleton, who seemed easier than the bee. That's something I really wanted to, like, start working on. So I started building an arena. But the problem was, it's really far away. Like, this place is, like, on the very, very edge of the map. And it's a large world. So it was taking... I was dying sometimes just trying to get back to the library in order to fight this guy. So I came up with the ingenious idea of building my own minecart track that goes over the entire world so that I could bypass everything. And honestly, it was pretty genius. It was pretty genius. I built myself a nice minecart track that rides all the way to the end of the world. But while I was doing it, I kept bumping into hills. And so I made it go up. I was like, right, I'll just make it go really far up. And then I shouldn't hit any hills. And I could just go straight along the map. And there's sky islands. And I can't believe it. There's sky islands up there. There's like islands in the clouds with like pools and stuff. Which then led me to something that the game has been sort of hinting at that I should do, which is fishing. Now, I've seen in some of the recipes, because I figured out how to make an alchemy table. It took me a good 20 minutes to figure out that you had to put a bottle on a table to make an alchemy table, because the crafting recipe said requires bottle. And I was trying to mix the bottle. I was trying to do all sorts of stuff. But eventually I was like, maybe I put the bottle on a floor or something like that and put a bottle on a table and it works. Like, just trial and error got me there in the end. And in there I saw that a lot of the good potions, like particularly the Inferno potion, which puts a ring of fire around you, requires fish. So I tried out the fishing is what I tried out. And it's bad. Like, I'm probably doing it wrong, or there's some way of getting like higher fishing power. I've seen that like certain rods give you fishing power, certain... bait gives you more fishing power. But ultimately, I tried fishing out, but it's a very sort of, at least for stream content, it'd be something I'd be fine to do while watching YouTube or watching Netflix or whatever. But during stream time, it felt like it was mundane. And I didn't want to do it too much. But I tried it out, and I'm going to go back to it because I think to make Inferno potions, I need some sort of fish from lava. And I tried to fish in lava, but nothing happened. So I'm guessing, and again, this is blind, so a lot of it is guesswork. I'm guessing I either need a special rod, special bait, or something unique that allows me to fish in lava in order to get the fish out of there. Because no matter what I do, just nothing comes out of there. Even if I use the best bait that I possibly have, nothing comes from there. So that is the next game plan over the next day or so. But before I dive into the fishing, which I'll probably do a little bit off stream for that, I'm going to focus on bosses. I want to get the skeleton down. I want to start working on the bee. And then see what's in this library, because this is the first time I've encountered something in Terraria that's like physically inaccessible to me. Like the game's saying, nope, you're not coming in here until you've done that. Because my guess is you kill the skeleton boss for the old guy, and then the boss, because it was a skeleton thing that killed me in the library, is probably going to open up the library so I can get in there. So that's the game plan in the next day. The next adventure is to work on the skeleton, see what's in the library, and then work on the bee probably, and see what's lurking deeper in the hive. So that's the end of day 3. I've got to say, at this point, this is possibly one of the most interesting, fun games I've played in months. Like, it's so, so good. So I'll catch you again tomorrow with the update.